Welcome into this special edition of the American Huddle, where we break down this season's Players of the Year. Alongside Andy Gresh, I'm Hali Oughton. This is the fun stuff where we get to reflect on the top performers from 2018. The coaches voted, and there were some extremely tight races. Let's start off with the Offensive Player of the Year. He led his team to an 11-0 season, 24-0 if you date it back to last year. UCF quarterback Mackenzie Milton. The country's behind Milton right now after he suffered a devastating leg injury against USF on Friday. But as he recovers and supports his team in the championship, why has Milton been the full package for this UCF team throughout the course of the season?
The thing that has impressed me most about him is that whether it's Scott Frost or Josh Heupel, he's the same guy. So he understands the offense completely. He knows where he's going with the football. He's been fearless in running the ball, as we've seen. You know, you look at that injury. I mean, there was no thought about let me get down on the ground. It's let me play to contact. And to me, that's the sign of a leader. It's a guy who's adaptable. It's somebody who will listen to his teammates. He can change on the fly and shows you a level of fearlessness. Now, I admit, my vote, if I'd gotten one with all the coaches, I probably would have gone D'Eriq King because just the sheer volume of touchdowns he scored. And I think with UCF, and we may end up seeing this in the conference championship game, without Milton, I still think they're a really good football team. I think Houston, when you take away D'Eriq King, there's a much bigger drop-off. But, hey, it's hard to argue with a quarterback who's won 24 straight games over 2 years as your Conference Player of the Year.
Again, our thoughts are with Milton, and we wish him a full and speedy recovery. Moving on, the Defensive Player of the Year comes out of ECU, actually. Defensive end Nate Harvey. Harvey is the national leader in tackles for loss, averaging over 2 per game, and is second in the nation in sacks. The Pirates as a team, they had a tough season. But how much does this say about Harvey that he was able to leave this impression across the coaches in the American?
So I'm here every week. And when I started to think about the Defensive Player of the Year candidates, I admit I would have never thought anyone from ECU, given the year they had and the point totals they've given up, that somebody would stand out. And then you look at the stat sheet and you say, whoa, what is this going on right now? So I can understand the coaches voting him the conference or the Defensive Player of the Year. And look, if you're behind the line of scrimmage and you're hitting quarterbacks, you're going to be on the radar right away, and I think that's why we saw this go the way it did. I know a lot of people probably thought that Oliver in the beginning of the year. You know, normally there's a Temple defensive player that might be thrown in there as well, but this year it ended up being pretty simple. And look, I think, Haley, we also have to adjust our expectations too. There aren't any more 14-point-a-game defenses out there anymore. Every defense nowadays in college football is going to be compromised at some point or another. And I think it's up to us to kind of adjust our expectations as to what new, good defense looks like.
And don't forget, the Pirates still have another game on their schedule this weekend as they take on NC State on Saturday. Temple dominated the headlines this year when it came to special teams, so it seems fitting that wide receiver Isaiah Wright takes home the top honor in this category. 3 touchdowns on special teams, leads the conference in punt return average with just under 14 yards per return. How game-changing has Wright been this year?
So game-changing that he was able to win this award away from someone on the Memphis special teams unit who's dominated this award for a couple of years. And Isaiah Wright, all you got to do is go back to that UConn game this past week, 7-7 tie, boom, he takes 199 yards to the house for a touchdown, flips the script and the momentum on that game. You can't have enough of those guys on your roster. Wright's done an outstanding job this year. And again, when you're in a return game and you're getting in the end zone, you are doing something.
A team that has a bright future ahead after a 10-win season is Cincinnati, and their freshman quarterback Desmond Ridder took the reins and also took home the Rookie of the Year honors. Ridder passed for over 2,300 yards and 19 touchdowns, adding 5 on the ground. How encouraging was Ridder's debut season?
Well, I think for Luke Fickell, and if you're a Cincinnati fan, it's, oh boy, we got our guy at the position that you need to find a guy. Now, they got to go recruit more guys who can still play quarterback, but Desmond Ridder now goes into the offseason as the guy leading the offense, and you can begin right there. I've got the centerpiece. Now, what can I build around this player? I thought Desmond Ridder grew as each game went along this year. Look, there's going to be bumps in the road. He was a freshman quarterback. But at the end of the day, 24 touchdowns, and most importantly, he played well enough for his team to win 10 games. You know, we get wrapped up in quarterbacks, Haley, in terms of all their stats. Let's include the win total as well.
And hey, the QB's head coach, Luke Fickell, named the Coach of the Year after improving his program's win total by 6 after finishing 4-8 in his first season. Fickell joins Brian Kelly and Butch Jones as the only Cincinnati coaches to win 10 games in a season. How impressive has the quick turnaround under Luke Fickell been?
Massive. I mean, so impressive that it caught me off guard. I mean, really. But now I think they're here. They're in a fertile recruiting area. They've got a quarterback, as we just mentioned, in Ritter. And I think Fickell knew what he wanted to do going in. I don't think he thought it'd be a 10-win season this year, Haley. Maybe 4, 7, and then you jump up to 10. But they took that big level jump. And I don't think this is a mirage, as Bugs Bunny would call it. This team is good, and they're going to play well next year.
All right, well, there you have it. For a full list of the all-conference teams, head to theamerican.org. Thanks for joining us as we looked back at the Players of the Year selected by the league's head coaches. On behalf of Andy Gresh, I'm Hali Oughton. Have a great rest of your week.